Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comet Class. And today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at Deadly Class, Issue 48, Savior Generation, Part 4. And yeah, it's been a while since I did my last Deadly Class issue review. And that's because I was dealing with, COVID and stuff like that. I'm still recovering. But I'm here to bring you guys the next chapter or slash issue of the Deadly Class series. And yeah, it's a pretty important one. So without further ado, let's jump right into today's lesson. Let's go. So this issue basically starts off with a flashback, and the entire theme is a flashback, and I believe it's the year 1989. So this takes place way before any of the stuff in the Savior Generation story arc, which was a really interesting way for this to end off, the story arc, in my opinion. And yeah, so we basically see King's Dominion, and we're told about what happened in this last year. For Marcus and his friends and stuff like that. And we basically jump right into the actual Marcus and everyone else basically killing each other, and everyone trying to get revenge. Marcus and his crew trying to get revenge on Master Lin for making them into these assassin killers and stuff like that, and trying to stop the cycle, as Marcus says. And we get a lot of cool action scenes. Eventually, some of Marcus's friends basically attack Master Lin and the rest of the teachers, actually succeeding in killing some of the teachers. And eventually Master Lin is put in a position that he's going to have to fight himself, and kind of like tells himself that he's going to have to kill some of these students. And a battle breaks out between Marcus, I forgot what his name was, the dude that had the boyfriend that he killed, fighting against Master Lin. And we get some flashbacks showing Marcus and his friends in different moments in their time together, and it's a really cool action sequence. Eventually Marcus tries to kill Master Lin, and Saya saves him by cutting Marcus in the back, stopping him from killing Master Lin, and basically tells him that the master that they need to get out of here, basically. Now Willie's sister basically tells Marcus if Saya tried to kill him, but Marcus realizes that she just cut enough to stop him from killing Master Lin, and that she's not entirely ready to kill Marcus. And we learn that the reason why Saya needs Master Lin is so that he can make her valedictorian and basically let her become the head of the Yakuza, basically being the first woman to ever take over her Yakuza, basically, as Marcus says. Now, Shabnam is basically running, and because he knows he's going to get killed by that dude that made him kill his boyfriend, basically. And they basically get into a confrontation, and he's about to, basically kill Shabnam whenever Marcus basically shows up and tells him that he can't do this, he can't kill Shabnam. And we get this interaction between him and Marcus, where Marcus tells him that he needs to break the cycle, he has to be the better man. And eventually Marcus is able to get through to him, and he allows Shabnam to leave. And Shabnam basically says that that Marcus is a real friend, basically, kind of like just mocking him. And he basically tells him that they need that this can come back to bite him in the butt, basically. He tells Marcus, and he's not wrong. Shabnam probably is going to be like the final villain because of this, because we do know that there's one final arc after this that will end the series. So I'm guessing Shabnam will be the final antagonist, which is very fitting because he kind of is the student that Master Lin needed, maybe not wanted, but needed, and he kind of like continues on, I guess, Master Lin's will and stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting. And like I said, I think that all of this basically comes together and shows us that there's one last stage for this story to go through. Eventually Marcus finds Master Lin and Saya, and he realizes that he wants to kill Master Lin to stop this cycle, basically make sure that Master Lin doesn't do this to anybody else and get any other kids to become assassins, and kind of train them in this deadly art, as well as getting them to kill each other. And Saya and Marcus get into a confrontation, they get into a fight, It's a really good fight. Of course, Marcus shouldn't be able to, take on Saya considering all of her training. But eventually, as the fight's going on, and Saya's gonna land a killing blow on Marcus, at least that's what it seems like, or maybe she's trying to fake it like she did during the, I forgot what the arc was called, but Volume 4 of Deadly Class. An earthquake basically happens. And this earthquake is crazy, and I think it's called the Loma Prieta earthquake, and as Marcus says, it saved his life. At least, if Saya was going to go through with the killing blow, we don't know that for sure. But Master Lin basically gets trapped under the rubble that fell on top of him, and Marcus is going to kill Master Lin, and Master Lin basically says that, Marcus is actually his greatest student, that he's proud of him. And he calls him his son as well. And, Marcus is talking to Saya as well, saying that her family's dead, that she has no one to impress, so why go through with keeping Master Lin alive after everything he's done to them. And Marcus decides not to kill Master Lin by his own hands. And Master Lin basically says, not to leave him like this, that, don't leave me like this, please, Marcus. And this is where Marcus says that, exactly like this, and he saves Saya, even though Saya says, to leave her because she has nothing basically to live for. But Marcus basically grabs her from under the rubble and they escape. And Marcus and Saya get, affected by the earthquake because there's another earthquake that hits, I guess, another seismic, shape. And basically knocks Marcus out. And when Marcus wakes up, Saya's not there. And we know that in the future they see each other, because that's how the last issue left off. And Master Lin basically is under the rubble still, and the whole place of King's Dominion, I guess, crumbles and falls down, which is very poetic, being that the entire King's Dominion has been destroyed now. And Master Lin is killed supposedly during this, collapse of the King's Dominion school building. And that's the end, it seems, of Master Lin. And as, Marcus says, now can we just get on with this? Which basically implies that he wants us to move forward in time and see what this final portion of what he needs to do. It still hasn't been revealed what it is that he wants to do with Saya. And yeah, there have been some stuff coming out, some covers and some synopsis for the next 2 issues, so I will be making a video talking about what I think is going to happen off of those synopsises, so be on the lookout for that video. And yeah, that was Deadly Class issue 48, Savior Generation Part 4 by Rick Remender and Wes Craig. And what a great issue. I actually really enjoyed this. I thought it was a very good climax. I'm very iffy on why they decided to get rid of Master Lin. I really thought he was the final antagonist. And I'm not saying Shabnam can't work, because he definitely can, as there's been a lot of build-up for that. And we definitely did think Shabnam was going to be a major player, a key player in the final story arc. So that hasn't changed, but him being the final villain definitely was not something that I was really thinking that Wes Craig and Rick Remender were going to go through with. But they did, and it was, good. And overall, I do recommend you go check out this issue. I know it's a little late, but like I said, I was dealing with COVID. But here's the video for you guys, for those that were waiting. And I really appreciate all you guys that have been subscribing to the channel for more Deadly Class videos. It's sad that it's going to be ending soon. I do know that we're on a hiatus or a break for this month. So there won't be another issue until November. But we're in the final issues, guys. And that's very exciting. Even if it takes like 12 issues, it takes like a year. The fact that this is the final arc is very exciting. And I can't wait to see what Rick Remender and Wes Craig have in store for us for this finale. Hopefully it lands it, and we get a really good conclusion to this story that I think a lot of us really enjoy. And like I said, it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite comic book of all time. So I'm so glad that I enjoyed this issue, and I'm glad that the story arc ended very strong. Very different than what we were expecting. So I don't think any of us expected a flashback, considering how many times we flash forward, or skip forward, I guess, in the story arc. But overall, it was good, and the writing was good as always, and I really enjoyed it. It did take a little getting used to during the read-through, and I had to kind of like go through it again to try to figure out what exactly was happening, with this flashback. So I wasn't sure if it's a flashback or, this is happening in real time, but we do get the year of 1989, which was definitely before all the stuff in the story arc. So it very weird way, like I said, to end it, but this is probably hinting that Shabnam will be the final villain. and that's very exciting. I hope that we get to see Brandy as well and what she's doing, being like a governor or something like that, or a mayor. It's just going to be very interesting. I think this last story is going to be very different than anything we've got in Deadly Class, and I think that's very fitting for an ending, because it's going to be really showing us what the future looks like for Marcus and Saya and the rest of the cast. And yeah, for anyone wondering about Maria, I will be making a video about that, because Rick Remender did have his question and answers at the end of this issue, and he kind of answered that in a very ambiguous way, but it's very implied that, you know, Marcus did kill Maria. But we'll be making videos separate for that topic, so we can talk about that as a community and, you know, lovers of the Deadly Class series. But that's gonna be all, guys. Until the next video, be it Deadly Class or other comics that I'm covering on the channel, be sure to subscribe if you're into comic books. I do comic book run reviews, and that's my main thing, but I do comic book discussions and stuff like that, as well as other topics and ideas that I do on here regarding comic books. But yeah, mainly just comic book run reviews is my main thing. And if you enjoyed this, go check out the rest of my Deadly Class videos. There will be a link at the end of this video to go check out, you know, a playlist of all my Deadly Class videos. And yeah, but until next video, guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comics.